Hello, fellow NEETs. Hello, hello. How are you, my fellow NEETs? Howdy. Hello, hello. Hello, fellow NEETs. All my NEETs. Moshi moshi NEET-chan. Hello. Hi, hi. Good day, mate. Hello. How are you? Ohayo hiki. Hikikomori no aisatsu no. Let's play RuneScape. Thank you for the $2. I don't have I've never played RuneScape before. Haruto Soma, Arisa. Kokoro katachi. Yo, this Nick got a TEFL job. What is a TEFL job? Is it? Forgot what it was. What is TEFL? Oh, yeah, that job. Congratulations. Congratulations. You have escaped the cycle of NEEThood. I'm ready for philosophy class today. Well, since a lot of my audience really seems to like me talking about like really schizo topics in like philosophy or whatever, I decided like, why don't I just talk about it? Since you guys really seem to enjoy listening to my like weird rants. Hi Lisa, your #1 fan here in the Philippines. Let's play Tekken 8. Maybe sometimes I'll play Tekken 8 with some viewers. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought maybe today I'd try like a stream of just chatting or just talking. Schizo equals real. Yeah. The most important skill for a streamer is yapping. Well, I sure do like yapping, you know me. I'm the professional yapper on the internet. I faced prejudice for being American at a bar in Kyoto, Japan last night. Oh, really? What happened? Schizo time. Schizo time. Actually, I had some interesting things happen. Like guys, if you guys didn't know, I finally updated the website on my sticker store. I've launched season 3 of Standout Stickers, and I updated my website. Isn't that awesome? It looks. I just did a free refresh of it to see how it goes. I made like a vlog about it. It's gonna be posted after this stream. I noticed the new stickers. Yeah. The images look awesome. I tried my best to make it be as professional as possible. I could do better, to be honest, but I did the best I could. And there is still quite a few people bought into it, right? And it's just I haven't made the vlog about the launch day yet, so I'm gonna release that. I have it scheduled for after the stream, so you're gonna watch that, and hopefully you guys, for all the people who are waiting for Standout Sticker Season 3, you can get your orders today. All this time I thought the acoustic thing was just a bit, but to be honest, I think it's actually cool. Like Beyblade's fighting games, etc. are all cool. I am acoustic though. I'm like literally, I'm literally diagnosed acoustic. Like, thank you for the $2. Don't play Tekken, play RuneScape. I've never played RuneScape before. Tekken 8 got all updated. I heard it's got like in-game purchases now or something. Speaking of stickers, I just got my keychains come in. I'm like legit happy and so excited. Really. I wonder what they look like. But they look pretty cool. How many sticker designs did you make before starting a store? I made 5 sticker designs. Autism isn't real. What flavor of acoustic? I don't know what flavor I am. I never tasted myself. Have you played Elden Ring before? Yes, I have. I actually played it on stream a long time ago. Autism equals superpower. I got like a lot of weird things. Like, I don't know, like I started polishing my Beyblades actually, funnily enough. Guys, look at this. Look how shiny this is. See this? Super shiny. Compare this to this one. It's like a huge difference. So I didn't do anything to this one. This is out of the box after some battles. Like I think like the finger, like the oils from your finger actually makes the metal kind of like gray. So I actually got some polish. I started polishing my Beyblades. It's like super shiny now. So I got like quite a few of them polished and they look super cool. I even polished my Phoenix feather, or my Phoenix wing, so you see the metal parts. Normally these would just be like kind of gray. Thoughts on the new UX base? They look really cool. I really want to try them out. You got like these like parts here where they're just sort of like scrapes off the metal and it's like kind of gray. So I decided to polish these. It actually looks a lot better with the edges polished, to be honest. RuneScape 3 is gay. Have to play old school RuneScape. I've never played either. I've just never played RuneScape before. I'm sorry. What else? I also like, this one actually turned out really well. Phoenix Feather as like polished. Like even out of the box, these Beyblades aren't very polished. Like they're not, like you can clearly see the difference between these two. See? This one's the polished one. This one's out of the box. I haven't battled with this one very much, so this is like pretty much what it's like out of the box. You still collecting new Beyblades? Yeah, I want to get the new UX Beyblades. They look so cool. I also have some in my Beyblade Stadium here. I got the orange Wizard Arrow polished. I mean, even in the comparisons, it's like such a world of difference, these two. And then I also got my Hell's Chain. I really like Hell's Chain. It's actually one of my favorite Beyblades. But yeah, they missed the philosophical part. No, I'm just getting started. It's just, I'm just messing, just getting everybody together before the philosophy starts to happen. One day the Beyblades will turn about on you. But like, you know, like recently actually, when I done like my video on like loneliness, I used to think that art really didn't matter, like art, YouTube couldn't be thought of as like an art form. because it was like it's so like money driven and stuff. But actually, like since I did like the loneliness stream, I like realized you can actually move a lot of people on YouTube, and like I think the problem with a lot of YouTubers is that they see a lot of like the viewers as like just a number, right? To them, viewers are a number. There's no difference between a subscriber that's been subscribed for a long time, a subscriber that's seen this video, a subscriber that hasn't seen like any other video, you know? It's just a number to them. But I think it's hard to really measure the impact of like say an artwork. Does art imitate life? Yeah, or a lot of people express themselves through art, right? How much oil does your finger release per day? I don't know. If you were to milk your fingers, what would happen? Number 300. If this is a sponsorship, I'm sold. No, I'm not sponsored by Beyblades, although I really wish if I had a Beyblade sponsorship, 100%, I would take that. I would take a Beyblade sponsorship. Art is money driven. Money doesn't disqualify art. Yeah, but it hinders it like from its true sort of like message a lot of the time, right? Because like that was sort of a video where I wanted to experiment a bit of just talking about my feelings on the platform, but also try to make like a short film at the end that I thought was like kind of interesting that sort of like explains like my nightmares or my fears in a sort of feeling, like no talking or anything, just like no words, just explaining visually all of my fears that I explained in the video before. Like I think that was like something that was kind of unique about it. And a lot of people were really touched by it, really, because they really thought, especially some people, they thought the end was like really interesting. They thought it was like comedic. Show us how to make poutine. That takes a lot of time to make. You wrote, yes, that's what I mean. Often artists that have the strong monetary motivation have the most contrived art. It's so uninspiring. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you can have art that is like money driven, and to an extent it is still art, but after such a long time it gets like really boring, you know? And I think really the purpose of like art, or like I guess art form, because at a certain point I feel like certain artworks, even technically artworks, aren't even artworks anymore. They're more of like a business. But like I think the purpose of art is to move people. Can you emotionally move people? Can you make someone think differently? I think one thing that happens when you get rid of art is that you get complete like nonsensical political discourse. I mean, just think of like the modern day now. I think the modern day is like super devoid of any art because everybody's obsessed with functionality over everything, and they assume everything's equal no matter what, like, and the context doesn't matter, right? But I think it's just like when that happens, it's like people feel so empty, they're lifeless, and it all devolves into just like shock value, which a lot of YouTube kind of is, right? It's just either shock value or political discourse. I'm better because my opinion is this or that or whatever, right? And it's like just a circle jerk of opinions, and there's no like nuance to it is the problem, right? I think art is really good at giving things that wouldn't otherwise have nuance, like more nuance, right? Art should be something that anybody can read. Like you can feel what the artist is feeling behind the canvas. It's hard. It's really hard to do that. I mean, artists try to, like really great artists are good at presenting a certain emotion that's really easy to read for everybody. But it's also genuinely hard because you keep in mind people have so many different backgrounds, right? There's so many different like perspectives or contexts for who is looking at your stuff. So if you're trying to make something for everybody, it's really hard to actually make something good. I think I guess I am a fan of Cause, but also like I feel like if any of you guys know Cause, right? He's the guy that makes like the sort of skull with the skull and crossbones on the Mickey Mouse body kind of like thing, those figurines. It's a very like hype beast sort of thing. But his art is very inoffensive, right? It's really appealing to everybody. That's what makes it such a good business model. That's why he's so rich. But also, it's like, it's not thought-provoking. There's not much to it. I find that a lot of modern artists just aren't very deep with their art just because they're more chasing the money. Cause. Kaws. Cause mentioned. But it's like, but it's like, it's not thought provoking. It's not like at least what I think, right? It's a lot of the time if you ask like what he's even trying to like get at with like the artworks, most people can't tell you. It's just they look kind of cool. It's really surface level. It makes it really good for business though because it's inoffensive. But also it's like it doesn't really move anybody other than it makes people money, right? I guess that's kind of like missing the point of art where I feel like it's writing off the already there cultural norms, but not trying to contribute anything new to the culture other than just like consumerism, which I guess in and of itself, that is kind of a culture, right? But is there a way to tell a story through an image? 100% there is. Besides moving their wallet, 100% there is. You can do so many things. Like I really like Junji Ito's work, but his manga is extremely like scary. Or I guess not extremely scary, but it's like kind of horror. But if you see images like this, right? It gets the emotion through, right? He's really good at getting those kinds of emotions through of just like horror and stuff. And this is how you explain a story through an image, I think. It's obviously hard to explain like a lot of stuff through just like one image. But it's like a lot of things that can't be written down can be explained through like images, right? Thank you for joining the NEET, super NEET club, Panda in a panda suit. Junji Ito mentioned. Thank you for the gifted membership. Junji Ito mentioned. I want a lot of people say stuff like I just know a lot of things like artists or whatever. It's like when you go to the old Buddhist stories those that make you think about, but not everybody can have this shock the very first time they listen to all this. Uzumaki, love that manga. Stop showing it, I'm scared. I work on architecture designs because I like creating something from nothing. I don't do it for others, so art isn't for others for me. It's like, I think for like really good artists, they have to find an in-between of like making money, doing something that works, which I think is a technology, and doing something to move people into a certain direction. Like for me, when I make videos or I guess artworks, my goal with the artworks is to get the person that is looking at the artwork or the video to feel the same way I'm feeling. If that is achieved, that was the purpose of it, right? And a lot of people assume like art has no purpose. And I think like that's a really legit purpose. I mean, even if you think about like propaganda, right? Like I don't know, like maybe throwing out this word propaganda. Propaganda is art. It moves people, right? And a lot of art forms, like a lot of media, is sort of like art, almost like propaganda. Definitely not as controlled as like actual propaganda, but you need to, in order to move people, you need to like sell this sort of like vision of like the future or vision of something or some feeling, right? Where like art is good at doing that. Create designs to invoke. Yeah, like propaganda is like a lot of propaganda campaigns hires artists that are really good at provoking like an emotion or getting people to think a certain way to create propaganda art. I mean, even if you go to like North Korea or like a lot of like Soviet Union propaganda art / like Chinese propaganda art, there's a lot of really good propaganda artists. Unironically, though. I know that some old Japanese art was painting as a story, and the artist would travel and tell a story to common folk who couldn't read. You could also consider art from a form of entertainment. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like, art can be entertaining. You are pro-NEET propaganda. Yeah, I am pro-NEET propaganda. I will create a cult, guys. We will create a NEET cult and we'll destroy the organization. I'm already proving that you can live life as a NEET and still possibly make it. It's not easy, obviously. It's not easy being a NEET. It's hard. But it's still possible. It is still possible. I guess my life is an art form because I am provoking an emotion to other people, right? I'm a performance art. The Church of NEET. I love that I'm in. Yes. Yes. We'll become the most powerful cult in the world and we'll destroy the organization. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Hiki Club. NEET Club. Turn this into a documentary, The Art of the Living NEET. NEETicize everybody. Any advice for maintaining focus while drawing, sketching, or paintings? It really depends. It's not easy. So, like, I think what I like to do sometimes is just set like a schedule or just pick a random thing out of your house or just get someone else to choose for you. Because sometimes the easiest way to choose is not to choose yourself, to get someone else to choose for you. Another way is, like for me, I like to use art as a way of like creating a narration for my life, to express your creativity. So it's like, I like to create stories. It's a lot easier to follow a story than just a schedule. So for me, I like to try to create stories in my head of what I want to draw and like how that relates to things in my life and stuff or whatever. And then I draw it. It's like things that are kind of important to me. I sort of create like this weird narrative in like my own head about myself. It makes things feel more fun, I guess, in life. You remind me of like a female variant of Moist Critical, totally a compliment. I mean, people really like Moist Critical. I mean, I like watching him sometimes. Doodles tell a lot about someone. I have a lot of like dismantling and like decapitation and stuff in my sketchbook. Also a lot of titties. I have a lot of weird stuff in my yeah, I have a lot of weird stuff in like my sketchbook. But they're all about just like my personal feelings and expressing them, even just to myself. Like maybe I'm even thinking of just how do I express what I'm feeling today to my future self that has no context. Make the collab happen. That would be difficult. You have to get out your anger somehow. No, if you look at like my sketchbook, I have some freaking weird stuff. Like I have like super psychedelic drug trip looking shit because sometimes I have like manic attacks, right? And I legit like just trying to like draw how like chaotic my thought process is. It literally looks like a drug trip. Maybe I can find where is my I don't know if I have my old sketchbook over here. I don't know where my old sketchbook is, but if I find it, like, I'd show you some of like the artworks and like, yeah, some of the stuff looked like real drug trips and also titties. So yeah. Your Honor, it was an expression of art. That's a good way to get it out. Yeah, it's like you need to get it out somehow. Because sometimes you just have like times where you can't control your emotions and you just need to express it. For some reason, I don't know, like I don't know why, but I noticed that people have like this perception or this feeling that like emotions are unnecessary. Like I think it's really weird. Maybe it comes from like kind of an autistic point, and I hang around like some weird autistic people. But a lot of people think that emotions are completely unnecessary and they just make things hard to do, which is like really dumb. Like why I don't get why emotions would be unnecessary. I mean, art is like the purest form of expressing emotion, you know? They're not unnecessary, but they can handicap you if you can't control them. Need to feel. No emotion sounds so empty. There is so many people I know that are just like emotions aren't necessary. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Logical versus emotional. I think you need both. You need both to actually survive. It's like, but like people don't realize it, I think. It's like half the fun of being human and also titties. It's because society has told us emotions equals bad. We need to change this. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think like we have certain emotions, right? I think like the emotion that people have now is like very manic, right? Just stressed, very stressed, irritated, like irrationally irritated, right? I guess that is an emotion, but it's not very controlled. I guess it feels like it's either we like nowadays it feels like it's either you don't have any emotions at all or the emotions you do have are very manic and like radical and like crazy, right? But I think like people don't realize that like a lot of emotions are just very like wholesome, I guess. I think it's like like people who are successful on YouTube, right? They know how to take advantage of like emotions or like know how to express their emotions well. That's how you get a really great community of people. I mean, that's how you get people to just together, right? And that's the power of emotions. But also, it's like you need things like logical stuff, right, to get through like logistics of that. You can't just like, well, maybe you can. Like, I was about to say, you can't just rant on the internet and there's gonna be people watching. Except I'm literally doing exactly that, and it's working. So. And we have 412 viewers now, so I guess it is working. I used to uninvalidate my intuition, especially when it comes to other people and red flags. And this has proven to have been unwise. I have now validate gut feelings more. Yeah, like I realized to like trust my gut a lot of the time. It's like obviously I'm like, you need to be logical to get things done, but you also, a gut feeling is like a good conceptual phase, right? 420 nice. Oh yeah, baby, 420 nice. You shouldn't ignore your bad emotions. That's part of being human, accept it, and continue on. Yeah, like I don't get why people are so like in denial about certain feelings, right? Like I think it's normal to have feelings. It's just how do you act on them. Like it's normal to be emotional, but it's not like good to act on them differently. I've seen a lot of people get things done illogically. Lol, it works. It works. Not everything has to be logical. It still works, man. Like especially when it comes to dealing with people, you think social hierarchies are logical? Fuck no. Hell no, that's not logical. That shit ain't logical, but it works. Hi, Lisa. I remember a channel with all the videos being apology videos. Really? That's kind of funny. But being a pro procrastinator. Moist critical spirit animal. I would say I'm like a more chaotic version of moist critical. Like I actually, like for me, I found like the times where I create like the best artwork was when I was when I was emotional. When I felt really emotional, like something happened that like provoked me or something. That's when I create like that's when I created like the best art. It feels. Most critical is too critical. Lisa is more uplifting, to be honest. A lot of people say my content is very wholesome, so I don't know. She said what she said. More chaotic than a Florida man? Yeah, I'm more chaotic than Moist Critical, man. Moist Critical ain't got nothing on me. Like your wholesomeness, thank you. See, wholesomeness is an emotion. People don't take an advantage of wholesomeness because it takes a lot of work. It's a lot easier to get people's attention with something negative, but it doesn't build up an audience. Like I think when people like take negative emotions, right? It doesn't uh it doesn't encourage people to do better, which I think if you want your audience to do you obviously want your audience to do better because that means you make more money because yeah, they're successful. I think he beats you. Who is more moist? Yeah, I don't know. I think moist critical is probably more moist. Respect takes longer. It takes a lot longer to build. It's not easy, obviously, but it's definitely something that shouldn't be underestimated. Is down bad an emotion? Yeah, I think I would say so. Down bad's definitely an emotion. I hate that drama channels get popular so quickly. Yeah, they do. They really do. But it's like they don't build anybody up. Like they don't. I found that a lot of drama channels, it's just like they get a lot of views, but it's all short term. How moist is moist critical? Let's find out. What do you have, a moist meter for moist critical? Alisa being everybody's parents, teaching everybody emotions. I mean, there's plenty of people who call me mommy in the comments. You guys are like fucking weird. You guys are weird. Calling me like mommy and shit. Like honestly. Bro, there's so many people that call me mommy. Well, on cue. We are being called weird by Elisa, and it's true. Yeah, you guys are weird. I'm also weird, but you're also weird. You guys are fucking weird, but I'm also fucking weird. You guys are more fucking weird, though. Like, it's hard to develop a genuine, like, long-lasting relationships with somebody that like, you feel nostalgic for when all you do is just drama. But that's thinking, like, way too far in the future for most people to, like, really grasp. No, you're weird. We're all weird. I'm actually Giga Chad. Sure, buddy. Sure. All of y'all are just fucking weird ass neets. Hey, have you ever heard of the new male archetype, the skibbity male? The skibbity male. How many of y'all are the skibbity male? Guys, is your gat goated? This is like a classic Elisa Chung stream. We go from like super deep topics to just like your gat is goated skibbity. Watching ISO speed skibbity. Rizzler with the W Riz skibbity. Skibbity. There is a good balance. Skibbity, skibbity. But is it for real goated though? With the Riz? Skibbity, skibbity. I love learning new words. Alisa collab with Kai Sanat. Kai Sanat with the goated Riz. Skibbity, skibbity. He's got the skibbity Riz. With the sauce. With the sauce? Damn. I don't get what you're saying. Damn, bro, your Riz is so Ohio gyat. It's so skibbity goated for real. For real. Oh my god. Is gooding or edging meta? But is edging goated? Is edging goated, or do you get the Ohio Riz? Skibbity John Cena. 90 years from now, people are gonna hear grandparents far and wide last words be skibbity. Yoku wakaranai. Yoku wakaranai. Watashi mo ne wakaranai yo. You're the most powerful artist because you're Elisa Chung, or are you Elisa Chung because you're the most powerful artist? I think it's a chicken and the egg. I was actually born the most powerful artist in the world. Does gooning give you the skibbity Riz? This is what the world is. This is what the world sounds like after a lobotomy. We thought 2020 was bad. We go like back and forth from talking about really deep topics like Madoka Magica, an anime about magical girls, and how that relates to karma and Buddhism, to skibbity memes. Skibbity gyat and the Riz Ohio, and the Ohio Riz. We Ohio gyat Riz. Keep it up, Lisa. Thank you for the $2, Raphael. Patch. Of course, Raphael has the biggest Ohio Riz of the century. Sounding like Socrates right now. If I am killed by a skibbity system, that skibbity system has the Ohio Riz. I will gladly die to Ohio Riz. Personally, I blame Big Pharma. 頭が痛い。頭が空っぽだね。頭が空っぽ。空っぽ。When instead of holding a skull, you hold a roll of toilet paper. I actually warned my Raphael has the skibbity Riz, and he's moved now. The Rizzler, she's real. Your hair looks like you can control and turn into tentacles or some shit like that. I don't know. Maybe I can. Maybe I have this secret, like, skibbity power where I could just summon out of my, like, asshole or something that, like, nobody actually knows about. Not even me. I don't even know about my own, like, skibbity powers. Taking our meds won't even help anymore. I stopped taking the schizo meds a long time ago. That's why my sketchbook looks like I'm on drugs. Riz maxing. Go back to philosophy, Elisa, please. I was honestly having fun thinking deeply. What is the philosophy of Ohio Riz? Is it a certain generation of like, is it a certain generation that's just been so thrown out that the only way they can cope is by lobotomizing themselves? Legitimately, though. No, I'm not even like joking here. Like, is there like self-lobotomy? Like, is there... I'm a different Raphael. Oh, true. Thank you for the 10 reels, though. Different Raphael. Who's the real Raphael? But it's like, legitimately, though. It's like, people talk about the skibbity riz and looks at brain rot memes on like Instagram Reels or TikTok or something. Is because it's just so hard to deal with like stress and like actually building something. You don't even want to do anything that's like thought-provoking. You just lobotomize yourself. Like, you got the brain rot memes, but I think the new genre of memes that are coming out is like called like just lobotomy. Lobotomy memes. What's Riz, people? I'm UK and I'm confused. Overstimulation and doom scrolling is like a nervous lobotomy. Honestly, I could kind of agree. Like, you get more stressed as you scroll, but it's like, it's better than like doing nothing. Plus, like, watching like the live leak videos on like Instagram Reels, it's just like watching like third world people die, it just makes you numb to shit. And it's like, oh yeah, that's pretty much life. Maybe I should make a video about that, to be honest. Maybe I should make a video about like doom scrolling. I was thinking of making like a series of videos that explore like deeper topics, sort of just like in my style. Exploring deeper topics and just talking, giving like practical examples, and then also just like a short film part where it's just I kind of like emotionally express my feelings on it in like the best I can. It would be kind of interesting. I was thinking, I did one about loneliness, right? I think another one maybe I could do is about like Discord addiction. Doom scrolling is another one I could do. What is it, parasocial relationships, just like legit, like kind of like more deeper topics, but just done in like a YouTube video way. You're a true icon for Eskimo con. I'm not an Eskimo. What do you mean an Eskimo? You mean like a Canadian? There's like not enough time to think about what you're actually seeing before it's replaced by something else. Yeah, like in a way, I guess it's almost like a medication. I feel like a lot of like medication now, or just like what is it? Like people, what is it? It's like people assume that having no thought is better than having thought because you're less stressed, which is, I think it's that's really like, that's not, I don't think that's a good way to look at it because it's really reductionist. It's not nuanced at all. It's just super reductionist, and I think that's kind of dumb. But it's like at a certain point, it's like when you can't like fulfill your needs outside your house, all you have is a phone. It's like, why don't you just doom scroll? You have nothing better to do a lot of the time. People are so emotionally stunted that they laugh watching a dismembering video but cry to a Rick and Morty Pickle Rickle Dies clip on YouTube. Yeah, unironically though. But it's like, it's so, like, everything's so stressful, right? Because you have to, like, everything isn't based on, like, reality anymore. Everything's just based on, like, stupid social game. It's really hard to predict what everybody wants, especially when you don't even get to meet people most of the time. It's like, it's just so stressful to just not be around anyway, because you just have to assume everything's uh it's like everything's sort of just like in gray area. Talking to people is like gray area. It just feels like nobody wants to talk to you, and that in itself is so stressful. And at a certain point, it's like when you have nobody around most of the time, what's stopping you from just being hedonistic? Funny shit we're gonna talk about desensitized. I watch analog horror to put me to sleep. It calms me. Really. I mean, a lot of people have mentioned my videos remind me of like analog horror videos. If you look at stuff like movies and TV series, nowadays it's all cynicism, sarcasm, and references. Yeah, it's like, what if you don't actually get the references? Like, nothing's actually held. Like, everything's dogmatic, it feels like. Everything, like, relating to, like, the media and like, the way of life is just, it feels like dogmatic. It's there because that's just how it is. Which is ironic because the current culture said the same thing about the last culture, right? But now it's like the current culture is like, it's so dogmatic. It's like, why is this bad? Why is that bad? Because we said so, but we never actually proved it. But if you're disagreeing with us, you're a bigot, you're a Nazi, you're this or that, right? You're literally everything wrong with like the world, which is so stupid. But then it just becomes like super dogmatic. So what's the deal with animal airline food? You remind me on why I should continue meditation. Is that a compliment or I don't know how to take that. Ever lay on the ground and pretend to be dead and count how long it be until someone stumbles upon you? I've considered it. Examples, like examples of dogmatic things, like the assumption that people are all the same, right? I think that especially that, like the genders are the same, right? Stuff like that is really dumb, and like to say otherwise, it makes you a bigot. iPhone jump scare. You got mail. But it's sort of like this dogmatism, I guess, where it's just things are just the way they are just because. It's like, why are people all the same? You could visibly see that people are different. They act differently. You know, like there is so much different between people. But you can't say that because everybody's supposed to be interchangeable. Y'all seen Shawshank Redemption? I have, actually. Well, it's like, I think the interesting thing about Shawshank Redemption, right? And I guess maybe I talk about spoilers a lot in like my streams, but the guy who went to prison, he didn't come out the same guy. I think the whole point of the movie was that the person goes into prison being an innocent person. He comes out prison a criminal, which is like an interesting idea. Genuinely a really good movie though. Prison does that to you. If we Bey battled, would you let me win? I'd never go easy on anybody in a Beyblade battle. I don't think we're literally interchangeable, but in a sense we're all the same. I feel like there's like just like this sort of like thing that people like try to push, that like everybody's interchangeable, anybody can do the same thing. And they try to do, like they die on the hill, like, and by they, I mean the organization, by the way. The organization's doing this. But they die on the hill that everybody's the same and everybody does the same thing. Everybody can do the same thing. Everybody's equal, which is, I think, really stupid. Even to a point where games are developed for like that kind of philosophy, right? It bleeds into video games and everything you do, politics or whatever, right? Literally anything, movies. It needs to be enjoyable for everybody to watch because everybody's equal or whatever, right? Stupid shit like that. I apologize for my parasocial Ohio Riz. It's all right, Raphael. You're the Rizzler, so it's okay. You have goated Riz. You have goated Ohio Riz. NHK. The organization is the organization. I think this is in relation to the lack of creativity nowadays. I think a lot of the lack of creativity comes with the assumption that everybody's the same. With the assumption that everybody's is the same means that there is an objective, correct way to do something, which is incorrect. At least I think it's incorrect. If you assume that everybody's the same and everybody's just a number and a statistic, that assumes that there is a correct way to deal with the people because they are the same, which is wrong. Stream is so boring. Where's Subway Surfers? So we're actually calling out the organization now. Sameness equals no creativity equals blandness. Yeah, like there's no direction. There's no, like when you're trying to create something for everybody, there's no direction for anything. Like I think Cyberpunk is like one of my friends was playing through Cyberpunk, right? And he was complaining about like how all the levels seem so like bland and boring. Because it seems like the design philosophy for Cyberpunk is that they need to make a game that everybody can play and everybody can enjoy every level, no matter what path they choose, which is bad game design. That is awful game design, by the way. Because he said that every level he goes through, you can literally just be absolutely just like brain dead or like have a lobotomy or something and still beat it somehow. Like, because the only way you can actually make things beatable for everybody is to make it super easy. So it's like, it feels like anything you do, like nothing has value anymore in the game, right? It feels like, oh, you went this specific path. Oh, there's an alternate path where you can get the exact same thing, but just like maybe like 2 dialogue boxes later. But if you didn't like get that path, right? It's so badly designed. And I think that kind of design philosophy bleeds into everything nowadays. It's weird. That's sadly true. And it's also supposed to be an open world game, but it's filled with generic stuff. That's because their philosophy is trying to be for everybody. it's supposed to be, every single class is supposed to be equal. Everything has to be equal, which means that there's no value in anything. It's like if you I guess if you specialize in the hacking class, why should you have the same experience as someone who's in the brute class or just like melee class? It doesn't make sense. But it's just the way the levels are designed. You need to be able to complete it like super easy for every class. So they have options for every class, which means every level is just really freaking easy. Or it's like even if you specialize, there's nothing there for you in the level. Like there's no levels that are only made for you, which is dumb. It doesn't make you like your build feel special in any way. That's why fighting games are badass. You can get creative with your characters. Yeah, like characters in fighting games are different. They're not meant to be the same. You know, superficial choices. Yeah, they're all the choices feel superficial in the game. That's why From Software is goated. Yeah, I like comparing Dark Souls to Cyberpunk, right? Dark Souls or either Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Elden Ring was really fun. I really enjoyed Elden Ring. It had a direction. Like you couldn't really build your character to be like literally anything. It pushed you into a certain direction of game so that they can design the game for that kind of person, right? Which it makes it a lot better of a game. Like some parts reward like stealth more, some parts reward brute force more, but there's not like one size fits all for everything. There's like things for people who want to explore, but they don't make the areas that are meant for people who like exploration also for the people who like to combat people, because they're mutually exclusive. Like you can't have both at the same time. I thought Cyberpunk was pretty good. It's pretty good from the standpoint of that it's the biggest baddest thing, which that's a really easy way to not like take any risk with your game, is just to be the biggest game, which I guess makes kind of like the gaming industry sort of like toxic when it comes to like games, because you can't make an objectively good game without a big budget, because people just assume the best game is the one with the best graphics, which is really stupid, by the way. And I think it's like that's also another dogmatic assumption, which is like games are no longer meant to be fun. Games are meant to be like some sort of I guess test for the modern generation of consoles or whatever, right? The best games are niche games. Indie games go hard. It's like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Every place is huge, but there's nothing to fill them, only empty spaces. Yeah, it just feels like there's no direction, right? It's like when you get rid of direction in like life or in general, right? When you assume everything's the same and you have to build everything for everyone, and it doesn't matter what choices they make, it'll make the same outcomes. You get no direction. There's no value anymore. I guess when there's no differences between people, there's no value being exchanged. You know what I mean? It's like, right? It's like why is something valuable to someone else? It's because there's differences. If we're all the same, if we're all objectively the same, there would be no reason to interact with other people, because we're all supposed to be self-sufficient, because we're all the same. But what comes with like value is just like, I have something that this other person doesn't have, or this person has something I don't have. It gives us a reason to actually come together, right? And like, I don't know why games aren't designed with like this in mind. It's like, I think it's just people don't understand how people work anymore, because they're just so out of touch. Isn't the ending of Evangelion where everybody becomes the same person? Yeah, well, it's basically, I mean, in the Evangelion, everybody becomes like the orange goop or whatever the fuck, right? But Shinji chooses to keep everybody separate because you realize that everybody being the same, right? Or it's like you have Asuka, right? She asks, "Isn't this what you wanted, right? Everybody to be the same, everybody to understand each other." And he realizes it's not what he wants, so he chooses to keep everybody separate from each other and different. Because in the end, there's a reason why people are different, you know? Everybody's low-key scared of everybody. Is this the Lisa game dev arc? Been too busy lately, but I hope everyone in chat's doing well. Hello, Lost Tales. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, I'm doing cool. I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty all right. I mean, they definitely are, but they're designed to make improvements to our past systems that are our main focus of what makes a game different. It's like, but that's not like what does that really make a game better? Does improving every single individual component of a game necessarily make the game better? That's the question. I don't think so, to be honest. I think the game needs to be seen as a whole. Unless it's just like the same series, for games to have like the same systems or be built the same, that's not really art anymore, I think. Nier games are cool. I love the Nier series. I love Nier Automata. That was like so good. I need to play Nier Replicant. I really need to play that. I want to play that, but I just haven't yet. But I really need to play it because I'm a huge fan of like Yoko Taro's like games. I'm a big fan of Yoko Taro's work. Really good. The only objective in AAA game dev is profit. So the more people they target, the more money that you'll make. That's what they think. It's dumb, but that's the point. You ruin so many series by doing that, though. It's like it works in the short term, but I think in the long term, it's gonna like bite them in the ass. Because especially you see now, like games are becoming less and less profitable because they need such a big budget. It's like you need a bigger and bigger budget, but your audience stays about like only gets like slightly bigger every single time. Which then that leads to your games become unprofitable in like 10 years' time. But thank you, the Lancel, for joining the Super Neat Club. Patch. Thank you. That's what they say they're doing. It always kills their sales. Yeah. It's happening. Yeah, I know. The sales are dying. And then you get the first quadruple A game for $70. Quadruple game. Quadruple game. No, I said quadruple A, not quadruple gay. It's confirmed we're in the Matrix. What do you mean we're in a Matrix? FBI guy just hacked the audio. What happened? There's a reason because so many AAA games are being released so buggy and broken is because the marketing team and sales people rushing the game out and not listening to the game devs. It feels like nowadays they're trying to market games to people who aren't even interested in games. Like, that's what it feels like. Audio went fucked up. I'm a robot. Say quintessential quintuplets. I actually haven't watched that anime yet. Your audio became a Michael Bay movie for a second. Did you hear about Ubisoft's dumbass quadruple A game that's been getting shit on by players who have beta access? I haven't actually heard of that. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing now. They're not trying to market the people who play games as a hobby. They're interested in they're marketing towards people that wouldn't play games. Just kind of, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Oh, you know, speaking of, wait, there is, guys, I gotta show you something. I need to show you this article. I saw this article and it's kind of crazy. Hold on. Vancouver. Guys, you need to see this. Okay, you guys need to actually see this. Hold on. Commercial, Avea, shut up.
It's a stunning example of just how unaffordable Vancouver has become.
Look at this. You guys got to see this. This is like insane. Hold on. Guys, look at this. You got to see this video. Like, holy shit, guys.
It's a stunning example of just how unaffordable Vancouver has become. A university student is commuting to his classes from Calgary. As Abigail Turner reports, the flights make financial sense in the region's out-of-control rental market.
Commuting to class looks different for Tim Chen, who doesn't board a bus, but a plane to get to university. The arts.
Can you guys hear it? Wait, can you guys hear it? Raise the volume. All right. Here, I'll put the microphone closer to the speaker. Hold on.
Flies twice a week from Calgary to Vancouver, saving big bucks.
Student is comfortable Vancouver has become. A university student is commuting to his classes from Calgary. As Abigail Turner reports, the flights make financial sense in the region's out-of-control rental market.
Commuting to class looks different for Tim Chen, who doesn't board a bus, but a plane to get to university. The arts student flies twice a week from Calgary to Vancouver, saving big bucks on rent.
I need to pay like $2,500 for the rent. I don't feel that is like, viable.
He pays roughly $150 per round-trip flight twice a week, about $1,200 per month total. That's half the average rent for a one-bedroom in the city.
I thought, why don't we just don't I just stay at Calgary and then just fly here? Like, 1 hour flight, that's like same shit taking a bus.
He had been renting in Vancouver for years, but gave up his unit to take a break from school. He returned to sticker shock.
When I checked the house price, I was like, oh shoot, that was a big increase.
Vancouver continues to lead the way as Canada's most expensive city for renters, while finding a place to rent is even more difficult, with just a 0.9% vacancy rate. We've even seen UBC students living in vans when unable to afford rent.
This was the only financially viable option, as I couldn't afford a bachelor suite of a kind by myself.
Chen plans to fly to UBC for his 2 classes until the end of the academic year.
Guys, you see this shit? Lol, I heard about this. Oh my god. A true finance man. Lisa, this happens because Canada has little land, lots of oil, cheap yet jet fuel, lots of people too, because he would be renting. Bro, I live in Canada. I live in Canada. There's a lot of space in Canada. They just don't build houses. What the fuck are you smoking? Buy YouTube Premium, you're a professional YouTuber. I don't like YouTube Premium. Or I just don't like YouTube, I don't know. North America needs to do better. Bro is literally like, man, bro is actually just taking a flight. I'm actually surprised the flight was that cheap. I mean, he's not that far from it, so, but like, bro is flying. He is flying twice a week, and that saves money on rent. The thing is, the rent is only going up. Yeah. Why are the prices so high? 'Cause Canada. It just is. We have so much space to build. It's just we don't build. Brother is risking his life. You see that shit? The rent is so bad in Canada. The rent is so bad in Canada that this guy actually makes flying to school on an airplane twice a week actually saves money for him in the long run. That's insane. This guy is racking up insane air miles. Just think of the places he can fly to, like he can fly to now, because he's getting insane air miles. He's saving money, right? He can fly anywhere around the world for free after that. Oh shit, Siri, shut up, Siri.
Okay, I found this on the web.
No, shut up. Worse than NYC? I think so. Because Canadian wages are a lot less than American wages. Like, they're like 20 or 30,000 less than American wages on average. And like for the big engineering / tech jobs, they never go above 100K anymore. Whereas in America, a lot of those jobs still go above 100K. In Canada, you can never get 100K from like a tech job or like an engineering job. It's like we got California prices, but like we got like less than like American wages by a lot. Like even with the conversion rate, like even like not thinking about the conversion rate, assuming the Canadian dollar and the American dollar was the same value, it's like just things are more expensive here, like in comparison to the wages. This guy is too strong for his own good. Can confirm about the wages. I moved from Toronto to New York City. Yeah. It's like you have the same, like we have like the rent of like California or like New York, but our wages are like way worse. You enjoy paying $2K a month for a closet? Canada's doom. Cali prices but crappy wages and weather. Yeah, it's just bad. It's just the worst of both worlds. Isn't Canada like a big ice desert? No. We have very hot summers. That's only if you go like really far north. Donkey market. Donkey. Way worse in Cali. The difference is in Cali, at least, you got like Apple and shit. You got like Apple, Microsoft, and like those companies and people can make like over $200,000 a year. It's possible. It's still expensive as fuck though, like more expensive than here. But it's like you have the jobs to like make up for it. I guess the issue is if you're not an engineer, then you're kind of like fucked in California, right? But it's like in Canada, even our engineers don't get paid very much. So it's like there's literally nobody makes it. I pay $4K a month to sleep in a porta potty. Damn, bros. It is expensive. Canada needs to chill. We're at a point where working basically isn't worth it. This is what I'm saying. This is like the philosophy. Hatarai taramake. If you work, you lose. It's like you just lose. Like there's no winning with work. You can work like a robot. You can work like 12-hour days every single day and still not make rent. Even on like a decent salary. Like even like $20 or $30 an hour. It's like insane. It's so crazy. Hatarai taramake. Saすがプロのニートだ。働いたら負け。Need logic. Hey, actually, guys, I need to show you a cool shirt I got from Japan. Hold on, I need to get it. You guys need to see this. This shirt is like beautiful. Where is it? Where did it go? Hatarai taramake. Hatarai taramake. I got it. I found it. I found the shirt. Hataraitara sake. Guys, look at this. This is beautiful. I got this in Japan. You got I love this shirt. NEET. No work, no money. Hataraitara sake. Nice, sweet. I just lolled IRL. It's beautiful. I love this shirt. It's so good. This is the perfect shirt. NEET, just don't work. NEET t-shirts. 働いたら負けて T シャツも見た。日本に行った時に面白い店で見た。いろいろセリフを書いてるシャツの店。I'm looking where you can get some of that Japanese furniture. 働いたら負け。You have to wear it on stream. Well, I'm not taking off my shirt on stream, but flexing the NEET fit. I know, right? It's beautiful. I love it. This is the best NEET shirt ever. "すごくおしゃれなニートだ." でしょ? でしょ? I love this shirt. It's beautiful. See, if you work, you lose. So I might as well just own it. That's why I have my own business. I guess I do technically work, but I'm a professional NEET. That's the title. I'm like, the reason why I have my own business and shit is because so I can do NEET things. I'm a professional NEET. I'm a puro no NEETO. No work, no money, not participating. Heckin' yeah. NEET, if you work, you lose. 働いたら負け. You successfully monetized your unemployment. Yes, I did. I am employed to unemployment. Just say artist. Well, that's basically your profession. I guess so, but I like calling myself a NEET because I identify with the NEET. I'm a NEET, baby. I'm a professional NEET. You're in training though. NEET is reserved for those spending all day in VR chat. I'm not in training. I don't have any formal training. Am I really in training? Also, I have spent all day in VR chat, like, a lot before. You know how much I play VR chat? It's like an addiction, I swear. Freedom NEET. I was here last when you were Beyblading in Japan. How's it going? It's going good. I'm glad you're back though. For some reason, it seems like all my Japanese viewers just like disappeared or something. I don't know where they all went. Ever since I came back from Japan, my Japanese viewers are gone. For some reason, they're just not here anymore. Nihon no yatsu inai na. どうしてなくなったのか。哀れの日本人が亡くなったのか。 Maybe it's because it's in the middle of the day. Maybe. I don't know. Are they asleep? Maybe they're asleep. Maybe they are. 日本語くそ The organization probably got to them. Shit, yeah. The organization did get to them. Inbo. Are the Japanese bits the ones that explain the purpose of art? I was talking about the purpose of art. And then I started talking about skibbity males. It's 10:30 a.m. there. Damn, okay, it's pretty early in Japan then. Japan needs to meet up when you get back to Japan. Yes, I gotta have a meetup with my Japanese. Yes. Japanese unite. Skibbity is my purpose. Skibbity. She was just 23 years old. Now she's a billionaire. Immediately self-proclaimed me with an online following from her YouTube channel. 私の日本語の演算レベルになった。でも日本語能力試験をまた頑張れね。頑張らないと。ファイトしなければならないよ。できるだけ勉強した方がいいかも。スキビディエリサ負けた負けた。An ad randomly played while you were talking, so it sounded like you said the N-word. What? When is your villain's arc gonna start? It's always started. I'm always being a villain. I've always been a villain, guys. Don't you know? Thank you for the $20, TY. Thank you for the Akira Toriyama art, Dragon Ball, Chrono Trigger, Good Times, Gong Xi Fa Chai. Thank you. Thank you for the $20, TY. Thank you for the red envelope money. Patch, thank you so much. Patch. Neat poser. Honestly, you think it's because Kansai Ben rotted my brain a little? Really? Kansai Ben destroyed your... Honestly, it is kind of hard to understand Kansai Ben sometimes. They do talk very, very weird. Elisa, supervillain, cult leader extraordinary. Yes, that is me. I will be the ultimate cult leader. I'll make the NEET cult. I'll make cool stuff and like do neat stuff. And I'm gonna create a NEET cult, guys. Don't you worry. We stand for goodness. Home money? Home money? Home. NEET commander. Yes. Yes. Fighting against the organization. Yes, guys. We need NEET chivalry. We need NEET chivalry so we can fight against the organization. You know, back in the day, people used to be more like us NEETs, but now they've just changed. And now all the normies and the organization's trying to get everybody's to be normies. And, like, normies are cringe. So we gotta show everybody the power of the NEETs. An evil cult that stands for goodness, but how? I mean, isn't that how most cults are? Just don't drink whatever she gives you, guys. Hey, what if I give you like a really tasty coconut milk drink? Or coconut drink? That'd be very yummy, isn't it? I am indeed cringe, how I can confirm. If you sell out as a NEET, you're auto, not a NEET. That's what the organization wants you to think, though. Actually, I don't think people should sell out. Selling out is bad. Don't sell out. But also, we need to get money so that we can overtake the organization. Guys, you have to do well, because if you don't do well, the NEETs will lose. Okay? You have to upkeep the NEET chivalry. That's what the NEETs are about. That's how we overtake the organization, okay? NEET Zaibatsu. Yes, I will be the leader of the NEET Zaibatsu. Selling out is all part of defeating the organization, bro. To some extent, you have to sell out, but also don't. If it destroys your dignity or your self-respect, you gotta keep this NEET chivalry, okay? You have to have the NEET chivalry, the NEET code. You sell out to get ahead. You don't sell out your soul. You sell out what you have, you don't sell out your soul. As soon as you sell out your soul, I don't think you can call yourself a NEET anymore. Episode G, FC. Thank you for the $20. Thank you for being a fellow rebel NEET. Thank you for the donating to the cause. Patch. Alisa Zaibatsu. Just make enough money to live. Y'all don't be greedy. Yes. First rule about NEET Club is you don't talk about NEET Club. I sell out my bot. Okay, no, maybe not that. That's no good. You don't sell out your soul, okay? It's called self-respect, honey. Well, apparently a lot of people don't have it these days, so I guess I gotta make it clear. What do you think about people who make songs? Do you like the people who make music? Yeah, of course. Art is an amazing thing. Like if you have a creative thing, you should use it. It's a gift. Like it's a gift you should use. If you're a creative person, you should use it. It's like as much as being a NEET is nice as well, you should at least do something. You shouldn't just do nothing. Like I think it is in the NEET's code to prevent yourself from rotting away. You shouldn't listen to everybody. I think it's not good to just participate in the meat grinder, but also don't let yourself just waste away. I think that's a horrible fate for like most NEETs. But you have to try to be better. Even if being better is doing it in your own way, you need to try to become better. But you gotta also make sure you just don't get taken advantage by other people, you know? Give yourself purpose, fellow NEET. The NEET grinder. Yes, the NEET grinder. A lot of NEETs are like gamers, retro gamers, coders, and musicians. Yeah, 100%. There's plenty of really talented NEETs that are just not like, they're not like being used at all in like the workplace. Nobody recognizes them for like the stuff they do, and it's really sad, honestly. And what happens is that these people just like waste away, and it's like I really wish there was just like some middle ground where people, you know, let out a hand to us instead of just like shunning us to, you know. But I think if we're gonna have to get like out of this, we're gonna have to like work together and make something good, and contribute to something to overtake because we need to overtake the organization. NEET dating app, NEET meet. My degree in piano makes me a talented NEET. Yeah, there is plenty of talented NEETs, man. NEET Tinder. Quick question, if any family friends ask, can you draw me, what's the best response for rejection? I don't know, I'm busy. I don't know, it's kind of hard. I don't know, some people ask me a lot, or some people ask me for like portraits and stuff. The organization. I'm doing better thanks to your videos. You're the best teacher I had. Wow, can I slay the lizard people? Please do take care of yourself. We're generally proud of you. The cult of the paper. The cult of the paper cut. The paper cut cult. No, that's how the organization gets you. No NEET apps. You gotta keep the NEET code, okay? You gotta keep the NEET code. It's all about the right effort, the right amount of shilling. I don't know. Maybe I need to come up with a code, some laws for the NEET code, okay? For people to follow. What does it mean to be a chivalrous NEET? The 5 golden rules of the NEETs. Making money doing what you love is extremely rare. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Just because it's rare doesn't mean you shouldn't try. That's the whole point of like trying, right? NEET commandments. Without the organization, does NEET have purpose, or do they become what they hate? Well, what I say is that the universe always acts in cycles. That is the concept of samsara, where everybody's in a cycle of life and death. Everything that once was a force for good will eventually be a force for bad. But when that time comes, there will be people to replace that. But for now, we need to be the force for good. We gotta beat the organization, guys. I got very ill, so I just stay at home all my life. there's no solution, then it's what is what it is. I just draw comics. I mean, at least you're doing something, which is great. I want to grow plants because of your plants videos. Aw, sweet. NEET anime arc, the organization. I hold a lot of value in doing things for other people, but a lot of the things I'm good at are just recreational for myself, like animation and music. This is so anime. Yes, it's cheesy, but it's true. You gotta do it. It works. It's hard, but you gotta stop yourself from rotting away. It's super anime, it's super cheesy, but it is true. I just ate a bowl of shredded cheese. Shredded cheese. I didn't even know that I was have an actual term. When I discovered that it is called this way, I was like, oh, there's a lot of people into this. Yeah, there's a lot of people that call themselves a NEET. There's a lot of NEETs. We just gotta conquer the organization that's trying to keep us down. Although we gotta do it in our own way. We gotta do it in a better way. The reason why eventually everything that happens falls in the future is because of normies. No matter what you do, it's a convergence theory, right? So you have all the choices. You have all the impacts that you try to do everything for good. You create a lot of goodness, but because of all the goodness, you create normies, and the normies like fuck it up, and it becomes awful again. It becomes badness all over again. Because the normies, it's the normies' fault. Like, if you have a great company, right? Originally, its original vision was like amazing. It was a great company. Then it gets filled with normies who are trying to just game the system to get money, like free rides, free money. And then the company's shit because it's full of normies now. Damn normies. She's doing the hiki sit position. The Shinigami will drop the death note. Let's go. Oh yeah, some people comment on this. I just always sat like this for some reason. Normies. Girl dinner, NEET dinner. I will always be gent to ladies, call me whatever, but it's what I was brought up to do. That is part of upkeeping the NEET chivalry, okay? How do you travel between different alternate universes? There should be the perfect universe with everything that I want and need. Is it possible to find and go there? Just curious. Everything is temporary. There's no such thing as perfection. It's not as simple as all the right choices were made, therefore we achieved perfection. That doesn't exist, I don't think. I think the world is like just a matter of cycles. It's like it's all in cycles. Anything that's great for a little bit, it won't be great in the future. Nothing lasts forever. It's like a flower. A flower grows and then it blooms, but then it rots and falls, you know? It goes hand in hand. It's like life and death. You can't have life without death. Would you call yourself a NEET if you were self-learning? I mean, I was always self-learning. Like, for example, drawing, I always just drew. That's just something I always did my whole life. Normies killed the flower. And this too shall pass. Yes. But the best thing you can do is be prepared for it. You gotta have the NEET code, and you gotta keep yourself strong-spirited. You gotta meet with your fellow NEETs so we can be stronger, okay? That's what we gotta do. NEETs together, strong together, okay? That's what it is. That's how we destroy the organization. NEETs together, strong together. NEETs together, strong together. NEETs together, strong together. Nothing lasts forever. Sounds like a banger song idea, thanks. It would probably make an interesting song. NEETs together, strong together. NEETs together, strong. It needs together, strong together. The organization wants you in the NEET grind. Yeah, they do. Glad to hear you're doing better. You seem to be mature and become more wise each time. I guess that is the cycle of samsara, isn't it? It's all about death and rebirth. No one time lasts forever. All the bad times will pass and all the good times will also pass. You just need to be prepared for the future. If you see your fellow NEET going through a bad time, you need to help them get through that bad time. You need to invoke your NEET chivalry and help them out. You need to be like a bodhisattva, someone who grows enlightened, gets to the stage of enlightenment, but stays in the mortal realm to help other people escape samsara. You gotta be like the bodhisattva for other NEETs out there for you. You know, you gotta help your fellow NEET. It's NEETs together, strong together, okay? I have a test tomorrow. Please give the strongest wishes. Good luck on your test tomorrow then. Boris Farter. Bodhisattva. Call me Boris one more time, I dare you. Who is this Boris and why do I keep talking about him? You gotta do your best, guys. You gotta try. If the normie isn't the norm, is it still normie? I can't find the fellow normies anywhere. I think the normie is more of just like a Honestly, I think the normie is sort of just like a product of social entropy. You know what I mean? With enough good times, it creates people who are just numb to the situation because they never needed to think about anything. They never needed to make choices, so they become normies. I think the normie, I honestly think the normie is just social entropy, like in physical form. NPC. Bodhisattva. Oh, Bodhisattva. Is it Bodhisattva? I don't know. I don't remember. Bodhisattva. Bodhisattva. Maybe I am stupid, but that's okay. I may be cringe, but that's okay. I'm based because I'm cringe. I may be cringe, and that's okay. I'm not I'm cringe, and that's based. Okay? But he sat on what? The bolsatsu. Maybe I should just say it in Japanese because it sounds weird. Bolsatsu. Cringe but free. She's based for real. Based in Red Pill. Normies seem happier though. Well, they're happier until they're not. They're only happy because it's a case of circumstance. Not because they actually earned it. Last cringe miss, I gave you my NEET, but the very next day I became a hikikomori. That doesn't even work. I guarantee you that I'd rather be me than a normie. Normie get hit in the face with life when they least expect it. Yes. If you're a normie, you're not prepared for the dildo of life. You know, as they say, the dildo of life seldomly comes lubed. So you best be prepared. Are you sure all bad things come to an end? My friend is a man UTD fan, and I want to cheer. What is man UTD? No Vaseline. I reported you 8 times. You still appear on my timeline. What do you mean what? It sounds a little literal. Also, why don't you torrent instead of buying? Because, e.g., you bought Tekken 8 because I have a PlayStation, not a PC. And also, online services don't work on torrents. And also, I prefer having the physical copy, so yeah. I like the physical copy because it feels like it actually means something. Shit can be natural lube, just saying. Manchester United? I don't know what that is. Carry lube in your pocket 24/7, got it. Physical media forever. I prefer of normies of the midwits that I see plague the internet. There's a lot of them. There is a lot of them. You don't know Man United, you're truly blessed. I don't know who Man United is. Lisa-san, have you watched Kimi no Toroke? I haven't actually watched it, but people keep saying I look like Sadako from Kimi ni Toroke. It's kind of funny. Like, actually, wait, guys, I need to... the actor kind of, like, looks like me a little bit. Like, mildly. Like, wait, hold on, guys, I need to show you. Look at this. People say... We were saying I look like her. Lisa during any Dre drama, that's literally me. That's you. I've had so many people in my comments say I look like Sawako. Sawako is literally Elisa. When Asian have Asian haircuts, she's literally me. You're in a TV show? No, it's just so many people in my comments are just like, you look like the Netflix Sawako. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do so many people keep saying I look like this? You look like Elisa Chung. You look like the girl from Kill la Kill. People say I think a lot of people say I'm like Asta Mitaka from Chainsaw Man. Like, guys, it's literally me for real. She's even autistic, just like me. She's autistic like me, guys. She's literally me. She is literally me. Kanamori. Oh shit, you look like Drake. I saw a guy that looked like Drake pissing. Mad Netflix fame. Why? Because she's grumpy? Because she's autistic and she's got like a similar haircut as me. She stole your whole flow, bad bar for bar. You look like Jackie Chan. Okay, that's just racist, buddy. What kind of autism you have? What do you mean autism? Like, what kind of autism? I mean, I was diagnosed with Asperger's. Acoustic. Have you seen the Drake skin on Tekken? It's hilarious. I haven't seen that. For real, you and Drake are Canadian. All Canadians look the same. My face when all Canadians look the same. Asperger's my favorite. No, I'm not talking about Asperger's. I'm talking about Asperger's. Hey, stop saying that, Chad. That's mean. I don't have Asperger's. I have Asperger's. You're not supposed to. Hey, you're not supposed to say that. You look like Hitsuji Bungaku drummer. Only way to skibbity find out. Butt sandwich. Asperger. Why did dude name it Asperger's? I don't know. I just have it though. I don't know why they gave it a dumb name, but I am diagnosed with it. I don't have burgers coming out of my ass. Atarashi Gakko member. Atarashi Gakko is funny. I like their music. They're pretty new too, which is interesting. They're really quirky. I do like their stuff. Titty burritos. Can you fly like Fujimoto? Can I? Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to levitate like Fujimoto. Guys, I'm gonna try to levitate just like Tatsuki Fujimoto. Hold on, guys. I'm preparing my levitation skills. Guys, I'm gonna levitate. Guys, I did it. Bro, are you okay? You needed to believe harder. Guys, did I do it? Guys. You almost need yourself. I saw that. Guys, did I levitate? Did you see me levitate, guys? Levitate for half a second there. Man, I need to practice my levitation skills. She's okay, she landed on the Asperger's. And clipped. Technically counted as levitation. Yeah, I was levitating. Guys, I levitated for like a second. That was some pretty decent air time. No, but I think your hair started turning yellow. Oh, did it? Am I going Super Saiyan? Am I learning how to go Super Saiyan? SMH only half a second, you need more practice. Shit. I didn't practice my levitation enough. Man, even the most powerful artist in the world needs to practice their levitation. Man, fuck this. What do you think of autism becoming a trendy thing that people pretend to have because they want to have it? It's kind of cringe. It's cringe for people to just be like I'm autistic, I'm quirky, because I'm mentally ill and I'm quirky and shit, right? I think it's like kind of cringe because usually they don't know anything. They don't really know what it's like to actually be autistic other than they're just like quirky. it's cringe to do something fake. I think autism is super common. I don't think it's that common. I think it's just people aren't very socialized nowadays, so I think there's a lot of misdiagnosis. Like, I noticed that when I don't socialize for a long time, I act my autism like I act more autistic. But for me, I was always I was born autistic. Like I always had like I've always showed signs of autism. I just became better at coping with it. Especially when I was younger, I was very autistic. But now it's like I can deal with it. I can deal with it just fine. But it's like the people on the internet just be saying they're autistic for attention. I think it's just like it really like I guess waters down the term. Wait, is it genetic? Yeah, it is genetic. Autism is genetic. It's awkward to make it your personality. Yeah, like for me, for example, I don't make autism my personality. Like, I don't think most autistic people would want to make autism their personality, to be honest. Most people who are autistic wish they weren't autistic. That's the thing. So it's like for the people who are like just saying they're autistic for attention, it's like they want to be autistic. It's like for me, I was diagnosed with autism like when I was like seven or 8. So it's like I've always lived my life knowing I was autistic, and everybody treated me as if I was autistic, and it kind of sucks, to be honest. It really sucks to be treated like an autistic person because people think you're stupid when you're really not, or they think you're just like, or it's like they just assume you're incapable of like literally anything. It's like claiming they have OCD. Yeah. I'm autistic, but people can't even tell, so it doesn't matter to me. People care too much about labels. We're all weird in our own ways. Yeah, I think that's true. Like, for me, I actively tried to not tell people I was autistic because I didn't want to be treated poorly. If you are autistic, it's like living in a hell you can't get out. It's like, I guess being autistic, it's not nice to feel like you're I guess like damaged goods almost. It like growing up, right? It feels like I'm like damaged goods almost. Like I can never be this because I'm autistic. I can never be functional human being because I'm autistic. That's like the sort of like the rhetoric I was getting from a lot of people like growing up. And it's not nice because it really destroys your self-esteem. Most chill autists I know, for real, for real. I have autism with high function. I mean, I'm technically a high functioning autistic person. But that's just because I'm like intelligent. Like I think one of the main difference between like a high functioning and a low functioning autistic person is just intelligence. Why not edit a bad gene out with CRISPR? What is this, an app? An app to edit out your genes? Especially when shows like Love on the Spectrum makes the normies think we're all like children. Yeah, like for some reason, like people think like autistic people are just never gonna be functioning members of society ever. But if you think about it, it's like some of the greatest people in history were autistic. Do you think it's never get tested? What do you mean by that? I've been diagnosed my whole life, like pretty much my whole life since I was like young, like 8 years old. I'm high and functioning. CRISPR is a corporation doing genetic testing. Oh, really? Interesting. Thank you for the 20 real, Louise Cast. You'll find people that are nice to you. Those people in your past bringing you down, just know their life isn't going anywhere and are being crabs in a bucket. You can do whatever you want in life. Don't hold back. 100%. Even if you are given a bad card like in the beginning, you can use them to your advantage. Like I am autistic, right? But my content fits me. Like I noticed some people have mentioned that I have like weird, sort of weird characteristics when I'm doing my videos. Like I scratch my face, I twitch a little bit, I have weird talking patterns, and I use a monotone voice. That's not an act. That isn't an act. That's just because I'm autistic. Like I can't. It's really hard for me to not do it because I feel like I have to force it, right? Turns out there's a lot of people that are interested in that. They actually like that. They think it's authentic and unique. So I just fully push it. I fully push the whole like autism vibe because I am autistic. So it's like I might as well if people like it. You're not autistic, you just feel like not enough, like an empty void of need of feeling. I am autistic, but I also still feel like I'm not enough. Your voice isn't monotone. Maybe you aren't screaming like the average YouTuber, but you are pretty normal overall. Really, I know like a lot of people in my comments mention like how monotone my voice is. I feel like it's unfair to always generalize autism because there's people like you and then others I know that are special needs and literally don't understand words unless they're scripted. Yeah, like, I don't understand why I'm grouped in. I guess that's why there is like Asperger's, but now they don't even use that term anymore. It's kind of hard because like I would be considered a high functioning autistic person, even though generally it's like I have a hard time functioning in society, to be honest. That's why I have the whole NEET thing. So like if I had a full-time job, I just wouldn't be able to hold it down because autism is like really hard. It's really hard to hold down a job as an autistic person. It's really hard just to listen to people as an autistic person. Yeah, stuff like that. But there's a lot of things like normal, like things that would be normal for other people are like really difficult for an autistic person. That's why I think like a lot of like hikikomori or like NEETs in Japan are just undiagnosed autistic people, to be honest. Some people have nonverbal autism. Yeah, there are some people like that. I've seen it actually. Still work BS jobs just fine. Snap every so often though. Oh yeah, that can be hard. Being infantilized yet expected to hold down a 60-hour work week job. Yeah, it's like even for non-autistic people, that's difficult, right? Because like you're not like a fucking robot, right? And also the work is a lot more specialized now and you need a lot of brain power. It takes a lot more energy to do the jobs, like I guess brain energy and like stuff to like do the stuff now. Back in the day, you could work long hours and not feel it as much because it's more physical work. It's like exercise. But nowadays, it takes so much more brain power to do everything, and it's not physical at all. So it's really hard to work more than like 40 hours a week. It's like the more brain power you need, the more rest you need. It goes hand in hand with like sleep. Japan actually has some cool things where they mainly hire disabled people in certain settings in a fulfilling way. That actually sounds kind of interesting. I mean, Japan, I always know that like Japan is really creative when it comes to like creating systems or hierarchy. So they're very resourceful people. So if they can find a way to implement something, they will find a way. If it's possible, they will. So it's like in Japan, they still find jobs for like disabled people somehow, right? It's because they already have the assumption that not everybody's equal. Whereas I feel the assumption here in North America or Canada at least is because everybody's supposed to be equal, you got to cut down the people who are above the rest to the people who are lower. Like I remember in Canada, it was like there was like some festival that was supposed to happen at like a beach or whatever. They had to shut it down because it wasn't like accessible, apparently. It wasn't accessible to like people in wheelchairs. Which is like, what the fuck? It's like, why do you gotta shut down something else for everybody else just because people in wheelchairs can't access it? Canada be like, you are successful, we don't do that here. Then they take you down a peg. Yeah, it's like crabs in the bucket. Did you wash your hair today? No, I didn't actually. I was going to, but then I was busy, and then I had to stream, so I had to do the thing. I don't know who this girl is, but she seems pretty cool. A lot of people seem to think that too. I mean, I tend to attract cool people, so yeah. Or it's also just like here's the thing, like the weird thing in Canada, right, is that everything new that is built needs to be accessible and wheelchair friendly and friendly for like disabled people or whatever. Like for example, every single train station needs a wheelchair accessible elevator. Except the problem is people in wheelchairs just don't take trains. So they just become useless and like vacant. So you put all this money into extra infrastructure that doesn't even get used ever. So it's like really stupid. Do you use rice juice in your hair? I never thought of doing that, but maybe I should try it. What does rice juice in your hair do? Hey, we got the sweater back. Love your channel. Thank you, Dennis Castro. Putch. Thank you for the $2. This is actually a different sweater. The other one's still in my laundry basket. I'm just a normie from the organization. Shit. There's a spy in our base. Girls do that because they can get sued for not complying. Would cost more to fight the battle than just install some accessible stuff. It's like, it's so wasteful though. It's like, the people who are disabled don't even go there. It's like what disabled person is gonna be in a wheelchair in the middle of nowhere, Canada, like where the population, like even the normal population is already really thin. It doesn't make sense. Or it's like, why do you have to ruin the fun for everybody else just because a couple people can't do it, right? Instead, I think it should just be that you should just make unique options for them, not ruining everybody else's stuff. You should just you should just get unique options for the disabled people, so they have something that they feel like they can get fulfillment from, not just to make everybody equal and like equal plane and like the exact same, right? Damn, she really hates disabled people. I don't hate disabled people. I think you shouldn't like be able to just like do that, where it's just like you ruin everybody else's shit. Wheelchair people. I'm not saying anything wrong about wheelchair people. Just go home, disabled people. We finna get canceled for that. I'm not saying anything's wrong with disabled people. I think it's just stupid that you have to stop everything else just for the people. Like you could definitely have stuff that are for disabled people, but to have everything like for disabled people is like kind of weird to me. I'll be off the train now. Thanks for the stream, Matane. Thank you for the 5 Canadian Suinobi. Thank you. Wheelchair people need to stand up for yourselves. No, I'm not saying that they just shouldn't be disabled. I'm saying that instead of cutting down, like instead of making things like instead of just getting rid of things for people with ability, you should just make unique things that disabled people can enjoy. You know? Like what I'm saying is the logic now is like saying the NBA shouldn't exist because the disabled NBA exists, like the paraplegic. Or the Olympics shouldn't exist because the paraplegic Olympics exist. And the main Olympics should be just as accessible as the paraplegic Olympics. There was this time when Elisa called me a wheelchair with a hard R. Thank you for the 50 ARS. Nothing wrong with disabled-friendly infrastructure. It may be more expensive, but I'd rather live in that world. The problem is it takes a lot to build that, especially because of the huge bureaucracy that goes through with that. Like you know how like things just don't get built because you have to go through so many freaking regulations. You have to think of the logistics, right? The building doesn't just magically appear, guys. It doesn't magically appear. I think one of the main issues is we have so many logistics or so many like bureaucratic stupid shit. I think one of the main things is like the accessibility, right? The government can just completely reject your plan to build something because it's not accessible, even if it's something completely unrelated. Like it's like the government can completely just reject your plans to build a skate park because the skate park isn't accessible. It's stupid shit like that. It's called an inclined platform. But the thing is, Like, people in wheelchairs don't go to skate parks. That's the issue. So it's like you're going through all this paperwork and bureaucracy for someone who doesn't actually even use the thing that you're building. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any logical sense. So then what a lot of people do is they just rather not build it because they don't want to deal with the like the bureaucratic shit, right? Disabled people pay taxes too. I don't think we should build things without considering them. I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't build anything for disabled people. It's just, I think it doesn't make any sense to make things that aren't meant for meant for accessibility to be accessible. If you have something that's meant for people with a wheelchair, then it makes sense to build. Like going to a restaurant like McDonald's or like a bank or any medical service, it makes sense to have accessibility things. But to have everything have to be accessible is like, it's so stupid because then it just plugs up the system. It makes everything so bureaucratic and slow, you know? What if someone in a wheelchair has to go to a skate park to like support a friend in the competition, just be like, film a document? That is so rare. That is such a niche case. It's like not gonna, it's just, that's like a fantasy situation. Like to constantly just say the hypothetical thing, right? Constantly just be like, what if this super niche case that only happens in like once in a lifetime, it's like, doesn't make logical sense. But it's like for Canada, right? We have a lot of issues where we just don't build enough because we have so many issues with bureaucracy that we just don't build. So it's like, cause you need all this like shit with like wheels, like accessibility shit or whatever the frick. It slows everything down, and then we're to a point where we don't have any places for anybody to live, or like, you know, we can't build apartment buildings because they're not the specific design that the architect proposed is not accessible. It's not accessible in the way the government wants it to be accessible. It's like it's accessible, but it's not accessible enough. So it becomes so dumb. So it's like, yes, you helped disable people, but at what cost? Now everybody can't get a house and we can't build anything. And we have so many people, but we have no infrastructure for it. Now nobody can actually access anything. It's stuff like that that I don't get, right? It's like, if anything, right? I think it makes more sense to build the thing first and get it done, and then retroactively add the accessibility thing if there are like disabled people like with a wheelchair that need wheelchair accessibility. There's enough of them that actually use the thing that it makes sense, right? But it's like, it's so dumb, like how it's like so watered down. Because it's like I see it in Canada, right? And I'm like, oh, you know, I look into just like, if there's such a like issue with the population in Canada, nobody has houses, why aren't people just building higher density apartments? And a lot of it is because of the building, like super bureaucratic building like regulations. it's so crazy in Canada. You can't build anything. You can't build fucking anything for like shit. And now we come to an issue where nobody can access anything. It's like, great. It's accessible for like maybe one person in a wheelchair like every year. But everybody else has to suffer because we don't have buildings. Got too many normies in your bureaucracy. Yeah, it's like, yeah. Like, I'm not saying we shouldn't build anything for like disabled people. It's like 100% we should make things accessible, but within reason. Like, it's like we need to actually, like, I think genuinely, right? It's like you need to you do need to help them, but within like reason, like within proportion, right? Well, ja se mi sigue pals matane. Ramps and elevators are within reason. Not when they stop literally any kind of building, like ever. Like it's just, if you come to Canada and you see like how few buildings get built in this country, it's actually insane how little gets built here. Like I said, like unironically, I went to Japan and I realized Japan actually seems to do this well. Like Japan is actually very accessible, but it's also within reason. What a wheelchair person wronged you? Thank you for the $5, Avi. No wheelchaired person did anything to me. I'm just saying. It's like the way the bureaucracy works in the Canadian government is like actually kind of crazy. No, like I found Japan, like I noticed Japan has like, is like very accessible, right? Very accessible. But they don't have this exact same philosophy where everything needs to be accessible, right? For example, here's an example that I noticed. In Japan, there are safe crosswalks that go over and around the roads, right? Say it's like you have, like, I remember I was in Ueno, right? Ueno. There is, ramps over the road so you can have safe crossings over a road. In Canada, you can't build that because they're not wheelchair accessible. But the problem is, if you make a ramp that steep, you will die if you go on there with a wheelchair. So you wouldn't be allowed to build that in Canada because it's not accessible enough. But it would benefit 99% of people who aren't disabled. I think instead it would make sense to have an alternate path for people who have a wheelchair so they can get to the places they need to. Like there was still a path for people that was accessible to the Ueno station. It's just there was also a path that was safer. But they're not stopping, like, it's just like they're not stopping like the people who are able from going up there. It's just they have alternate paths for people who can't go up there. If everyone can't have it, then no one can have it. Yeah, that's what Canada feels like, right? It's like this is again the philosophy I was thinking with in North America. It feels like everything has to be perfectly equal in every single case. This is why so many video games suck ass nowadays, because every single level has to be just as accessible as someone like just as accessible for someone who made a different build than you, which makes it suck ass because every level is the same and it sucks, right? Whereas like it's almost like every level in Cyberpunk is it's designed like everybody has to be in the same, like has to have some path in the level, right? But that just makes it all the levels feel the same, which makes them suck ass. Instead, I think a better idea would be to make some levels good for certain builds and then some other levels good for other builds. You can still do the other levels. It would just be harder if you did a certain build, but there are still options for you. Elisa beats segregation allegations colorized. Why is this segregation? I don't get it. What is this American politics shit? Shut the fuck up, bro. I'm not trying to segregate people. I'm just trying to make things more efficient. But it's stuff like that, right? Whereas like, yeah, it's not just like the bureaucracy in like infrastructure building that I see it, but you see it in video games too, where they kind of have the same philosophy. It's all or nothing mindset. Yeah, I think it's really dumb, like the all or nothing mindset. It's the assumption that everybody is equal in every way, which is stupid, because then you don't have exchange in values. But like that's what I'm saying, like in Japan, they're crafty, right? They don't have the assumption that everybody's equal. So they still somehow manage to get like disabled people or people with disabilities in the workplace to do something, to at least do something. Usually in positions that are generally crafted for them, which I think is better than making every single position possible to do, or possible for a disabled person to do, which doesn't make sense because you can't really guarantee for every single possibility. So it's just bad design, I think. Holy. But I don't get why trying to say that as segregation. Like it's just tailoring things to people so that they can enjoy the thing the best, right? It's not like I'm saying that disabled people should just be, ignored. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they should have options. They should have options, but you shouldn't get rid of everybody else's options. That's stupid. Like, what is the bad guy gonna make his dungeon wheelchair accessible? You're on the internet, nuance takes or discourage here. I know, I mean, it is the internet. People are just gonna take my shit out of context. I don't really care though, because I'm used to it. It's just, if you want to bring American politics into this chat, you can leave, please, because genuinely, it's really annoying. Like, genuinely. If you're just gonna bring American politics, please leave. Like, actually. But it's like, again, like that's a philosophical dogma, right? That like people have nowadays, especially in like North America, right? Because it's like it's the assumption that everybody's the same. It's stupid. I think it's not. It doesn't make sense. America ain't the only country in the world. I try not to, but it's hard when everybody's screaming at you to take a side on literally every. That's just American politics, man. American politics is ass. It doesn't, like, everything's politicized. It doesn't make sense. And it just, like, it completely ruins the vibe for people, man. It's like you can't have any fun anymore. Apparently US politics is worldwide politics now. People who make politics a personality are massively cringe. Yeah. Canada is basically American politics with maple syrup. Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like, especially like for the new government elections, they try to get favor by like bringing American politics into the government, and it's just I think it's so stupid. It's like I don't care. It's like gay rights or no gay rights. You know what? Like I'm chill with them, but it's like, bro, I need help. I need a place to live. Come on. It's like gay rights, trans rights, whatever. I don't care. I just want to buy a house within like a reasonable price. That's just all I want. You know, I don't care, man. Like, whatever, you do whatever you want, but like I want a house. Politics is upper middle class is America's first favorite pastime. Yeah, it's because they don't know what art is. Like, it's like, no, because America is an artless country. It's I think America is a country without any beauty. It has beautiful nature resorts, but I think the country itself, like its philosophy, it lacks beauty. And I think this is what happens when you don't have art in your life, is you get people who are so obsessed with politics and don't understand nuance at all. They can't understand nuance because they don't understand art. Hey man, I'm American and I love art. I mean, most Americans don't really pay attention to it, but I think it's very important to have art in your life. There's art, but it's not very good art. I mean, like, look, you see the modern games, the modern video games. You see modern video games, modern music. I wouldn't say that's really art anymore. It's just a business. It's a technology. It's not art. Beauty is the eye of the beholder after all. No, I honestly think that's kind of a cope. Because Americans think art is being an actress or a singer. It's like art has nuance. that America has does not have nuance. Whoa, are you against businesses? But think of the shareholders. What's Canadian art like? A lot of it, like if you think of like Robert Bateman, the Group of Seven, for example, those are very famous Canadian artists, but they're mostly about nature. So Canadian artists, they value nature, but other than nature, there really isn't much in Canadian art, to be honest. I think the Group of Seven does have some pretty interesting stuff though. People are too concerned about surviving to deal with art, so they don't know any better. Well, that's the thing. It's like you make it hard to survive. It's like a loop. It's a negative feedback loop with chicken and egg, right? So it's like you make it harder to survive, so people don't have time to think about art, which means they can't actually teach nuance to other people, so they give them a worse mindset, and then that makes the problem worse, because then they just make it harder to live for everybody else, and then those people don't consume as much, so they can't actually get a more nuanced view of the world, and they make it worse for the next generation, and it just becomes what we have today. And it's like, yeah. Elisa, do you think depression is a choice? To some extent, yes, but also not really. Like, there are people out there who use depression to get brownie points. Like me, of course. Like me. But there are some people who use depression to get brownie points from people. Like me. But also, a lot of depression is from circumstance, right? Like if you live in an awful place and like you live in an awful state, it's really hard not to be depressed. I mean, they call the things like the Great Depression for a reason. Did you catch the Tekken Live? I didn't watch it actually. Which countries have your flavor of art? I think a lot of modern art is just bad. I think it's the modern art scene is just kind of bad, because it's all turned into a business. It's all money. There's like even in Europe. Europe used to be really famous for like its modern art or its art, right? But nowadays, I think modern European art is ass, just like American art. It also, you'll notice like the new artists coming up in like Germany or whatever and America, they have similar art styles. And they're not very good. They're just kind of bad, to be honest. New art is so bad. It bleeds into everything. It's not just like the art scene. It's like video games, movies, music. It's all fucking bad. People cope with saying like, "Oh, you just listen to the best of that era." And there are still good stuff occasionally. There's some good new stuff, but it's usually not very popular. It's usually super niche. But it's like there's just a lack of creativity now in general. What's the fuck so special about Bob Ross? It's the same reason why people like Sam Sulek. He's like, it's just he's good vibes. Bob Ross is good vibes. People like him just because he's good vibes. Anime is the last form of entertainment that hasn't been totally screwed yet. I mean, I think the anime industry is further off than like the other industries. I think Japan still makes good creative content, and in general, I still see that Japan is quite a creative society. As much as people like to say they're like stuck in their ways and they're not very creative, I still think Japan's quite creative, to be honest, more creative than North America, in my opinion. You're good vibes too. Thank you, man. A24 is the golden cow for pretentious film bros. I mean, A24 makes good movies, but they're like it's because they're one of the few people that actually makes like artistic movies anymore. They get like so much praise because they're like so few of those like kind of companies, right? Which country would you say is the most creative? It's really hard to say because I don't know a lot about most countries, so I can't really comment on that, to be honest. Like, I've seen like art in Europe. Like when I go to places, I usually like to look at art galleries. I I keep I generally take pictures of like the architecture or the art galleries or like the European like art and stuff like that. I like to take pictures of the architecture and stuff because it reminds me, like just looking at it visually, you can kind of tell the personality of the country, right? It's like for America, right? You go to Washington, the buildings are huge. There's some level of like detail on the top, but they're most of all, they're meant to be big and imposing. They're not meant to be super beautiful. A lot of them are meant to be just like beautiful enough to just be functionally beautiful, I guess. It's mostly functionality. They just want it to be big, right? They want it to be the biggest thing, which is very American. And it's like a lot of this like buildings in like Washington I saw, they were nice, but they were very copy and pasted. So it felt like they were sort of like mass produced almost in just like sheer size. Which is very American. That's quite American, right? Well, the buildings in Washington aren't that big. Okay, well, if you compare it to literally any other country on the planet, they're huge. Architecture is the past, you need to look in the future. Well, it's like it describes like the personality of a place. You can kind of tell the personality of an artist based on their art. Right? You know how like people say it's like the art or the artist tends to look like their art? Well, it's like for countries it's similar. So you have like you look at the architecture, you look at the artworks, you can kind of tell the personality of the country. And when I went to Germany, I can tell there was like a past that was very much like German, but I think the new age stuff is like very American. Like I saw American politics on like the Berlin Wall. I saw like yeah, I saw American politics on the Berlin Wall. Like that's how American Germany is. Like Germany is super American. Have you bought the Legos, Elisa? I'm working on it. I've been busy, so yeah, I've been trying. Um, but yeah, you notice like the personality of the thing, and like that's why I like when I go to different countries, I like to take pictures of the buildings and like the modern like the art museums, because I find like when you look visually at stuff, it kind of tells like a personality of like the nation. Bionicle, I hope. Yeah, I'm gonna get Bionicle. Makes sense because half of this was controlled by the U.S. and the other was the USSR. Yeah, it's an interesting history, but I find that like just art styles and stuff in general kind of echoes history. Like you can kind of tell what's happened a little bit. Have you ever visited America? I visited New York. Yeah, New York. What else? I think I've been across the border to like Detroit or something. I also been to like Florida. I've been around Florida. I've also been to Washington D.C. So yeah. The ghettos right outside the cities are horrendous. You know, it's crazy going to America, seeing like the wealth disparity. It's actually like a huge deal. Like I thought Canada kind of had like bad wealth disparity, but when I went to America, it's like really bad. There's like, it's like huge difference. Like I remember I went like on a train in America and we passed by like some cities, right? I think one of them was like Philadelphia. I remember seeing like this futuristic looking building in the middle, like this futuristic city in the middle. And then completely around it was like all just like rusted out like buildings that are like burnt to shit. And it looks like Mad Max. It looks like some wasteland. Like it was like Fallout on the outside, but it's like in the middle it was like futuristic, like high tech, rich area. I was like, what the fuck is this country, man? Go to Los Angeles and see mansions and then crackheads. Yeah, it's like really bad wealth disparity. Philadelphia is the perfect example from. I saw it from the train. I was on the train. I saw it through the window. I'm like, what the fuck is this city? I have never seen anything like this. I was like, holy shit. And that's from like an outsider's perspective, right? Like I never lived in Philadelphia. I never been to Philadelphia, but I just saw it in passing on the train to Washington. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's like Fallout New Vegas on the outside. It's like Detroit Become Human in the inside. No, it's like Cyberpunk in the middle, and it's like Fallout on the outside. The outskirts are Fallout, the inside's Cyberpunk. Fallout Detroit. Did you visit the famous wastelands of New York? I did, but I only went in the Manhattan area. I was only in the Manhattan area, and to be honest, it was actually quite nice. But I'm sure outside of the Manhattan area, like the Bronx or something, is like really bad, like really sketchy. There are pockets of nice things, and everything else is fucked. Well, it almost just seems like the nice things exist because everything else is fucked or something. Actually, Upper Manhattan's pretty sketchy, really. I mean, Toronto's really sketchy, so. I would say, actually, Manhattan area was less sketchy than Toronto, to be honest. I was born in the Bronx, New York. I wouldn't recommend New York. Where's Spider-Man when you need them? You should explore outside of just Manhattan as a New York City citizen. Well, I'm not a citizen of New York. I live in Canada. I just visited New York, right? I don't like the problem with like visiting outside of like like Manhattan is because I don't know which areas in New York are safe or not. So especially me as someone who is quite vulnerable, I would not like to get my phone stolen or held at gunpoint. Although I went to Washington, and Washington has risks of that, so maybe I'm just a bad judge of danger. All right. It's a little bit late now, so I should be going to bed, but it was fun just talking about you. Talking with you guys. Yeah. Also, the people that assume I just hate disabled people for some reason, you don't know nuance. You don't know nuance. I don't hate disabled people. It's just, yeah. But, yeah. Anyways, it was pretty fun to just fuck around. W stream, Elisa. Good night, good night. Thank you guys. I'm gonna go to bed now. おやすみ皆さん。またね。またね。